Season 8 finally goes after the single most exhausting part of Dragonheir, the gear grind. And then, in the very same update, it hands you a fight that can expose every weak spot in your account at once. 2 teams, 2 battlefields, 0 shared equipment. So which is it? Is Serpent Maze the season that finally respects your time? Or just a taller wall with nicer loot on the way up? The honest answer depends entirely on how your account is built. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly which side of that line you are on. Hello everyone, and welcome back to your trusted Dragonheir channel. We have covered this game through the Reborn overhaul, through season resets, and through more team-building arguments than I can count. Today it is Season 8, Serpent Maze, and one question. Does it actually make the game better, and is it worth coming back for? One thing up front. I am working from everything officially announced for this season, not from weeks of live server grinding. So where something looks great on paper but still depends on tuning, I will say so instead of selling you a guess. Here's the plan. The new endgame everybody is arguing about, then the quiet gear change that I think matters even more, and at the end, the part most reviews skip. Who should actually play this season, and who should sit it out? Quick context, because it changes how you read the rest of this. The Reborn Foundation rewired the math here. Permanent progression and shared resonance levels made keeping a wide roster far less painful than it used to be. That matters now, because for years Dragonheir quietly rewarded the opposite habit. Stack your best gear and artifacts onto one optimized team, and let everyone else collect dust. Season 8 goes after that habit on purpose. The main event is the new temporal vortex in Cloudtop Arbor, and it is not a normal boss fight. Twin hydras, 2 battlefields, running at the same time. One side wants focused single-target damage. The other side demands strong area damage, and your score is calculated across both. That sounds simple until you translate it into your actual account. You are not preparing 5 excellent heroes anymore. You are preparing 10, doing 2 completely different jobs at the same time without leaning on the same solution twice. And here is the rule that gives this mode its teeth. The same equipment cannot be used on both sides. That includes artifacts. No sliding your premium set over to whichever team is struggling. Each lineup needs its own complete build. If you are an endgame player, this is the most interesting thing in the season. It rewards roster knowledge. It rewards specialists. It rewards knowing which shelved hero was actually good and just never got gear. Units that spent months on the bench suddenly matter, because your universal carry can only stand on one battlefield. But flip it around and you can see the danger. A veteran sees a puzzle. A mid-game or returning player sees a checklist of everything they do not have. Exclusive gear across 2 teams can create real strategy, or it can feel like the goalposts moved again. Which one it becomes comes down to tuning. If several team styles work, this is a genuinely great test of how well you know your account. If only 2 or 3 narrow answers work, it punishes roster size instead of rewarding smart play. The structure is confirmed, the balance is not. Which brings me to the part of this update getting a fraction of the attention, and deserving a lot more of it. Dungeon armor and gloves will no longer drop with flat hit points, attack, or defense as their primary attribute. That is the whole change. And if you have been farming this game for any length of time, you already know why it is huge. Those flat primary stats were dead rolls. You finish the run, glance at the drop, and it is gone before the animation finishes. Removing them does not hand you perfect gear, and it does not touch substat randomness. What it does is raise the floor. Fewer runs that end in nothing. And notice how those 2 changes talk to each other. The season asks you to equip twice as many heroes, so the loot improved to match. That is a game fixing an old problem, instead of stacking new content on top of it. Serpent Maze expands the build pool with 7 new equipment sets, 4 new mythic artifacts, and 9 new legendary heroes. That is a lot of new toys. But quantity is not quality, and I am not ranking heroes I have not watched perform. The timing makes sense. A mode built on 2 specialized teams needs more paths to build with. The real question is whether this creates many valid answers to the twin hydras, or just 2 or 3 that everyone copies. That takes live results, not patch notes. 2 smaller items. Magichess matchmaking is expanding to 3 time windows. If you have ever skipped that mode because the only window landed at 3 in the morning where you live, that one is for you. And Spanish language support is in active development. Good news for a big part of this community, but pay attention to the wording. In development, not live. I will call it a feature the day it ships. Let me put the season in one sentence. It gives veterans a reason to use more of their roster, improves gear drops at exactly the moment the game demands more builds, and opens Magichess to more time zones. The question changes from, how strong is my best team, to, how well does my whole roster solve 2 different problems? That is a healthier direction, as long as the difficulty leaves room to experiment. Now the honest half. The biggest unresolved issue is roster strain. That no duplicate rule is exactly what makes Cloudtop Arbor interesting, and exactly what makes it brutal if you have one polished team and a bench of half-finished projects. There is also no verified evidence yet on balance, stability, or how useful the new heroes and items really are. Announced structure can read beautifully and still land badly once the numbers hit the server. And better primary stats still do not fix substats. You need several complete sets now, not one. That is a lot of farming, even with a better loot pool. So who is this season for? Fast version, because one of these is you. Active veteran, or competing near the top of the endgame. Strong season to stay in. Cloudtop Arbor is a direct test of the depth you spent all that time building. Returning with 2 or 3 developed teams? Good week to come back. Wasted farming goes down, and the vortex gives you something clear to aim at. Entire account riding on one stacked team? Come back, but come back with realistic expectations. Competing seriously in the headline mode will take some rebuilding first. New player? The gear journey just got friendlier, but do not measure yourself against the vortex. Build a stable roster first. That mode is not your entry point. And free to play? Dropping flat primary stats makes every dungeon run more efficient, while 2 teams with exclusive gear keeps the top end demanding. Both are true at once, and anyone flattening that into a clean yes or no is selling you something. So, does Season 8 meaningfully improve Dragonheir? Yes, with conditions. The gear change gives you time back, Cloudtop Arbor gives veteran accounts a real problem to chew on, and the design is coherent. Build wider, farm smarter, solve 2 fights at once. What it does not do is solve everything. The vortex could turn roster depth into a hard wall, and its balance still needs proof on live servers. Still, Serpent Maze is better than a routine content drop. It respects your farming time, and it asks a more interesting question than, is your carry big enough? What I want next is tuning that rewards creative teams without making a narrow roster feel hopeless. Now I want to hear from you. Which half of the twin hydra worries you more? Building a second real damage team, or putting together 2 complete gear and artifact setups with 0 overlap? Drop it in the comments, along with what you want changed next. And a huge shout out to every channel member. Your support is what lets me keep covering this game in this much depth. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in Adenthia. Stay safe, stay grinding, and I'll see you guys in the next one.